Right?
Okay, don't say anything bad.
That's right.
Oh, why not?
I was on a call a couple of weeks ago, and after the call, I got this notice that there were minutes, and that it's a basically it's a kind of, I don't know, AI, I don't know even what it is, right? It's a machine that took our minutes. And then it's like, which I didn't know was happening. Not that I would have said anything different, but it was just another, a lot of people record things, but this is literally a transcript. I mean, and I've done some, of that work because I do international work. So I have to read sometimes interpretations, which are terrible. They've gotten much better, but usually they don't know how to, where to put the verb. But it was just a little like shocking somehow that I just, and now of course you have to sign up to get the information. And now they send you, 4 emails a day telling you how great their product is.
Oh, wonderful.
But I think if I cut them all off, then I can't get the transcription I need for these meetings. So.
Oh, geez.
Ay.
So there's no winning, is what you're telling me.
No, you're just ignoring. You put a lot of energy into ignoring.
Well, with the number of emails that we get anyway.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, everybody I know who goes away comes back to kind of like hundreds, Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's every day.
Every day. Oh, yeah.
I go sifting through trying to find something I want to look at in my email. And
too much time deleting.
Yeah.
I know.
And verifying whether something is spam or not.
Right. And then making sure you tell it it's spam. Yeah.
And trying not to open anything that's ain't it great? Don't those people
talking with my sister the other day, and I lamented that we don't ever write letters to each other anymore. And she had one of her granddaughters visiting, and a couple of days later I got a letter in the mail from my granddaughter and my sister. It was astonishing.
It is nice. Yeah, my grandkids send real thank you notes. It's lovely. Little drawings, that kind of thing. Good. Right. Just teach them how to,
That's better than a little happy face or something.
Thankfully, the little ones don't have phones yet.
I think we should have a rule that you can't have phones until
they're 45.
I'm going to say 25, but okay, 45.
Stop at 55. Yeah, no, I'm right. I mean, it makes sense. The high school kid has to really to just even, get stuff from school. But no kid, no, they're in, one's just going into middle school. Seamus does not need a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even teach cursive writing in elementary school.
They don't. They've actually gone back to it. My youngest grandchild, Rosina's 16, had like about 6 weeks of it, and then they dropped it.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting that because if I write them a note, I write in cursive. I went to Catholic school. We learned perfect grammar.
Well, at least you're not writing in Latin, I'm digressing. We're supposed to be doing Tai Chi. I'm sorry.
It's a really foreign language. I can kind of read a little bit as long as it's liturgical,
Well, I'm gathering that Adam probably isn't joining us today.
It's usually on time, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him in a while. I need to check in with him and see, make sure he's surviving down there.
Yeah, really, all of that.
So, well, we had Mr. Bynum there.
That's right.
I'm just rearranging. I'm plugging in so my battery doesn't go dead.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
thing.
that's a good thing to do.
Good. Okay. Questions? Really, what have you discovered in practicing this head roll this week, if anything?
Well, I think I thought in class last week that I wasn't doing it correctly. But then in reading the notes and doing it, I felt like, oh, well, I can feel it going down my legs to my feet as and so I think that those marks of hopefully doing it correctly are giving me the kind of feedback that I need.
Yeah, I will say that this is probably the most difficult posture of all
Mm,
to do correctly. It also is the posture that if you do it incorrectly will not be good for you.
right, that's what I'm worried about. Yep.
Yeah. So it's important to we'll continue working on this. Actually, I will not race ahead to new things immediately. I will tell you, so that we can work on this a bit. This is particularly one that it would be helpful to be able to actually see you in person. Clearly, Mr. Bynum can't do that, but the others of you might give some thought at some point to doing that, because I think in this particular posture, it can make a difference.
Mhm.
Zoom is wonderful, but it is not the same thing as being in person.
Right.
Yeah. I did watch the video. I haven't had much chance to practice, but I did have some questions, or question or two with the roll. And I've got an issue in one of my cervical vertebrae that presses on the spinal cord if I get out of sorts. So I want to be extremely careful about how I do it.
Yep.
So is it turning simply this way, or are we circling on the horizontal plane?
No, you're not circling on the horizontal plane.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I'm glad I didn't do a whole lot of that.
because that's, in effect, circling on the horizontal plane would probably be pretty much the same thing as doing a typical head roll, which is just
Yeah.
pivoting on one vertebra, which you do not want to do.
Right.
The key to this actually is what Joanne referred to with the crane neck, which you have to do without tension, but you have to actually lengthen the neck into it.
Yeah.
And then maintain it so that you can actually rotate the whole neck and actually begin to connect to rotating the vertebra. which will,
That's not this kind of floppy.
no, it is not floppy at all, because that means you disconnect it.
Yep.
So there is a circular motion, but it is not horizontal. It does have a little down and up.
Okay.
What it doesn't have, except for some specific exercises, actually one is in what we'll be doing today, but you do not want to put the head back.
Right.
So once you have created the crane neck, which and so we're back to the top piece, of course, of this of the C curve. You really have to make sure that you are not just dropping the head, because that's not it, as we, I think, probably are clear at this point. That lengthening of the neck and that slight tucking of the chin has to create a connection, both physical and energetic, initially down to the sacrum, but ideally down to your feet.
Yep.
And if you can get that connection and maintain it as you do the head roll, then you're beginning to get the idea. There is a little more to this. This is not yet the full movement 7.
Yep.
There's more, actually a little more to come. But we're going to stick with movement 7 for a while until hopefully you guys are at least relatively comfortable with it.
Okay.
You have other questions? Bill, you said you had, that was
Well,
one.
it was, they were all about the same thing. I wanted to make sure what rotating actually, meant.
Yeah. Oh,
Because I
no,
do think of
absolutely.
rotating as a,
Yeah. And since you have that particular issue, it's very important that you respond to that. If you feel that you're doing something that is impacting that in a negative way, you should stop and talk to me about it.
yeah.
Don't say, oh, well, I'll just keep pushing through. That's I'm sorry, that's stupid. Not that you are.
Yeah.
So it's important that you be careful, because if you have a physical problem that impacts a movement that we're doing, then you have to do it smaller. Perhaps you may have to limit the movement. You have to figure out how you can accomplish the goal without a negative impact on your body.
Right. Well, what I'm hoping is that if I get the hang of it and do it correctly, that this will help my condition rather than the other way around. So
Yeah, it might. It
Yep.
might, I think. Anything else for you, Mr. Bynum?
No, I think that conversation is helpful. I do have questions, but what's happening with the other part of the spine, but maybe that's coming later, and
It is. We're kind of taking this in small steps.
yeah,
Although today's practice will take us a little further and at least point in the direction that we're going to be going with things. So we're going to go right into another practice of this. So I'd like you to stand. And make sure you're standing in a comfortable and good position. Making sure all the parts of your body that should be open are. And as you begin to practice this, at this stage, you want to begin each time with simply beginning to feel the energy going from by way at the top of the head down through the center of your body to your perineum and sinking to the balls of your feet. And so you're really just trying to get that sinking of the energy through the center of your body. And then you want to go into your crane neck, so lengthening the cervical spine, tucking the chin a little, and feeling that connection all the way down, ideally at least to your sacrum. And then as you begin to go into the neck roll, just begin to feel that you are rotating your spine. You want to feel a sense of the whole spine turning and rotating. Not that you're pivoting on a single point. And now go in the other direction for a moment. Okay, pause for a moment. So, Bill Nagel, one of the things I would say is to let yourself have in that rotation a little more bend. So it's not, you're doing it almost horizontal unless a little more bend
Okay.
has a negative impact in your spine.
I'm not, to be honest, I'm not feeling a whole lot going on in the spine. Actually, more strangely enough, when I'm standing and, getting my mind through my body, I feel it more than
Yeah.
when I'm turning. So I hope that counts.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what that says to me is that when you do the crane neck, you're not making real contact with the spine, because when you do a crane neck, when you do it correctly, the energy shoots down to your sacrum.
Mhm.
I mean, it is a very tangible feeling. It's not a big movement, but so perhaps you're not extending the head enough to make the connection at the occiput.
Yeah.
So that would be something to play with. Just getting into a crane neck that really creates that energetic flow down the spine.
Okay.
And then you want to maintain that,
Right.
which may be easier said than done. So this goes back in a way to the C curve, in that when you create the crane neck in the C curve, the crane neck remains until the very ending moment of that straightening. You're not wanting to lose it at any point. And we don't want to lose it here while we're doing the posture either. So, Bill Bynum, I was going to say, the one thing I would say to you is that we're not sinking and rising with this.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
not part
finding myself fighting against doing the C curve at the bottom when I'm doing the
Yeah.
crane. Yeah.
Well, I understand that, and you have to make the distinction, absolutely. And so, but you want to make sure that you're not sinking and rising even subtly with this, because that's not part of the movement.
Okay.
We are focusing on a rotation of the spine from top to bottom, and how that connects elsewhere into the body, actually. So,
Question, David, I have a
Sure.
question.
yep.
Yes, while we're not doing a C curve, we are still tucking our pelvis, correct?
Well,
A
your
slight tuck,
pelvis is, your sacrum is pointing straight to the earth, yes.
right?
But you're not doing the C curve, which is tucking the
Right.
pelvis a little further.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah,
Okay,
okay, clarifying that. Yeah.
good. So just for a moment before we continue, talking about the twisting here.
Mhm.
So as you are rotating, in effect, downward, you're twisting outward from the spine. And when you come up, you're twisting inward. And that, of course, reverses when you go to the other side. So you want to be
Say that one more time, David.
sure. So into it. So you're going to twist outward as you go down, and inward as you come up. So you're feeling the whole spine twisting out and twisting in. And when you reverse, you're going to reverse that. You're going to twist out, and then you're going to twist back in.
When we're in the posture just to get started and we do the crane's neck, have we tucked just enough to have there's not an arch in our spine, right? In our back, middle of our back?
No. Nope, you're only doing the crane neck. Do you find it hard to do that?
Well, I'm just trying to get, what I'm doing with the lower part, you said we tuck just a little bit. That's to straighten out the spine up to sort of the middle back or the bottom of the crane's neck.
Uh-huh.
Is that a good description?
Yeah, you're not, in other words, you are not changing the basic position you're in when you stand,
Right, right.
other than the crane neck. The rest of your structure remains the same. Is that clear,
Okay.
Bill?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So, let's start again. So each time you start, just take a moment. Obviously, let yourself stand and be aware of your structure. And as you extend your mind through your body, really try to feel that energy sinking from Bai Hui down all the way to Yongchuan at the ball of your foot, both feet. And then making your crane neck, making sure you don't make it tense, but lengthen, which remember is a release. And beginning to rotate. And think about the twisting of the spine. I think, Joanne, you can let your head rotate a little bit more.
Okay.
Now, as you are rotating, your arms are also going to turn based upon what your spine and head are doing. So as your spine is twisting out, the arms are twisting out. And as you twist in, they twist in. Let them just turn.
Is that something we do?
No,
Okay.
your spine does it.
Mhm, mhm.
And because you're trying to rotate your whole spine, you're not punishing a single vertebra or wearing it out. Feel the energy from your head going through your neck and through the vertebra. And extend the vertebra. Let them lengthen until you feel all the way down to the vertebra behind your heart. And be aware of your crane neck making a circle. Just like in movement 3, it's going around to 3, 6, 9, and 12. And in the other direction when you reverse. Just let your arms turn with the turning of the spine.
Would you go through the twisting in and out of the spine again? Sorry.
It's all right. So there is a sense when you begin that you're at the top of your rotation.
Yeah.
And as you begin, whichever direction you're going, that you're twisting out as you go, let's say to 9,
Mm-hmm.
and then in as you come up, going to 3 and back to the top.
Okay.
So the twisting of the spine does not divide into 4 parts. It only divides into 2.
Okay.
Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes.
And so your arms are rotating with that. And that the rotation of your arms, the twisting of your arms may be very small to begin with.
It's small.
So don't, I'm just saying, don't put on yourself that, oh, I have to have a big turn. No, you don't necessarily, just that they are twisting. all twisting begins with a small awareness and movement and grows over time. Now see if you can have that cervical spine connect all the way down to in back of your lower dantian. Ideally, as you turn from your head, you can start feeling everything in your spine turning every which way, both ways. And as you can get it going all the way down to the vertebra and back of your lower dantian, have it also go down to your sacrum, your tailbone. You want your vertebra effectively turning like this the entire time. And if you haven't reversed, do. So there is also a stretching from top to bottom and bottom to top. As you go down, you're stretching from the crown of your head to your tailbone. And as you go up, you're stretching up from your sacrum to the crown of your head.
Are we maintaining the crane's neck as we go up through the whole thing, or is,
Yes.
so going up does not mean straightening up?
No.
We're maintaining that.
You're maintaining the crane neck so that you never lose that connection to the spine. If you lose that connection to the spine, eventually you will stop turning the spine. So take a break. So what issues, questions, successes, what's going on as you do that?
Actually, I'm feeling my spine. It's not in any coordinated way. It doesn't feel yet like the spine stretch, where I can identify each group of vertebrae. But I feel it doing something, moving, and I have a sensation down around the sacrum. So
Good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good.
It's, as I say, it doesn't seem to be predictable yet. So
Right.
Yep. Well, this is very early
Mhm.
days for Movement 7.
Mm.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm feeling the same as I said in terms of my practice from last week, which is that I think I'm doing it a little bit probably more correctly than I had been doing last week, but mostly I am feeling the energy.
Good.
So I must be doing something right.
Yep.
Uh,
All right. Bill?
I think I'm in touch with it. I think I'm at first was coming out of the crane's neck when I was going back,
back.
you know,
Mhm.
and I think trying to correct that, I felt more of a sensation of twisting, but maybe only down to heart level or
That's
uh,
fine.
yeah. And I'm still having a hard time relaxing down in the pelvis sacrum area
Yep.
because there's a little bit of pain down there.
Oh, yep. Well, don't push it. Take short practices so you don't exacerbate that.
Well, that was a question I had, David, is,
Mhm.
yeah, how long should we be doing this? Are there too many rotations? Are there?
Well, this is,
I
this,
know at times we have had to really limit some of, our work on our spine.
so um, you shouldn't do this for hours, obviously.
Probably not a problem with this crowd.
No, I don't think it is. Um, this is a posture a movement which you really need to not just do when you flow. You really need to put some separate practice
Yeah.
into this. And I don't think there is a specific in terms of exactly how long or how short you should do it. But I think the thing is to pay attention to your body.
Okay.
Is it causing stress in your body?
Mhm.
Then it's time to take a break. So it's not something that I can say, well, you should do 22 and a half repetitions.
Right.
It really, and you shouldn't overdo this. So don't do it for 20 minutes. I mean, that's probably not a good idea. I'm taking you today through several stages. And so in going into this, you really want to go back and start from the beginning. And at first, just do the head roll itself. I'm just really trying to be comfortable with doing that, and then begin to feel the connection and twisting into the spine and the rest of it. But one step at a time. It's like everything else that we work with. You can't possibly be aware of and learn and incorporate all these parts at once. I know you're extraordinary people and you practice enormously, but still, you need to do it step by step, as we've always encouraged you. Um, so, and everybody will move at a different pace, and there's not a right or wrong. It's just simply being aware of what's happening in your body and responding to it. one of the things, if you want to add this to your flow, I might just point out how you do that. Yeah, I hit the wrong one again. I'm very good at that.
Gotcha.
So when you're doing movement 6 and you're coming down and you want to make that transition, what you're going to do is just let the arms go to the side and just come into your basic position, and you can actually pause your movement if you want to for a moment, particularly in the early stages of this, and do that practice of feeling your mind extending through your body and the energy flowing, and then go into your crane neck. And as you begin to do this, just flowing into it and letting your arms just rotate as they want to rotate with your movement. So it's just very simple. Just come down, go into your basic stance, and if you're ready to go right into it, create the crane neck and go. If you want to stand for a moment or longer and extend your mind through your body first, that's fine. So just to give you a...
So with that, when we're in 6, we're in the C curve.
Yep.
And so we sort of straighten the lower part of the C curve.
You're going
as
to
we
straighten the whole, you're going to first straighten the whole body.
Straighten the whole body and then do the crane's neck.
Yep. So you're not trying to overlap the C curve and the crane neck.
Okay. We aren't turning the C into whatever the next thing is.
No.
It's something in Cyrillic alphabet, I think.
I like it. Yeah, so you want to let yourself resolve the end of movement 6 into your basic structure, which means basic level and all the alignments. Make sure your mind is extending through your body, and then do your C curve and go into movement 7. So the nice thing about this transition is that you don't have to jump into the movement. You don't have to rush into it at the moment. Eventually it will connect, but it's more important to take the time to approach it in the present moment and consciously, and have an appropriate C curve so that you don't in any way hurt yourself. So, other questions there at the moment?
Yeah, a quick one. Is there a slight movement of the torso as we do the head roll? I've been trying to keep my torso.
At the moment, you're not moving the torso.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll answer your question. Yes, there is a slight movement of
Right.
the torso, but we haven't introduced that yet.
Okay.
It helps, eventually it will help the rotation of the spine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just stick with where we are at the moment.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to stop there with this particular practice. I don't want to overdo this. I'm going to take it in stages and let you really, with what time you can practice, just focus on a little bit at a time and not be hopefully overwhelmed. So what I was going to suggest is that to do a don't have a lot of time, so do a really short flow. Let's say 8 repetitions, and go into the head roll at the end. And this movement 7, like movement 3, if you're doing 8, will be done 4 in one direction and 4 in the other. Okay.
Mhm.
So this would give you an opportunity then to begin to think about adding this on to the flow. Okay? Remember to start with movement 2.
Right.
Poor number one.
So how was that?
Well, it's interesting transitioning from one to the other because we really hadn't done, had done that. And last week when I practiced, I didn't practice it as part of the flow, just separately.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's such it, as you're going through it, at least, and I've been practicing it separately too during the week, but doing the transition into it because it seems different right now. There's not like the sort of opening and closing in there with breathing. We haven't talked about breathing yet for 7, but it really made me think more about the spine through the first
Mhm. Uh-huh.
the first ones, knowing that we were going to do the twisting
That was
at
coming.
the end. So
Oh, good.
yeah,
Yep. No, there's more, and you are. I will say, don't worry about it at the moment, but you are opening and closing in 7 as well.
I'm sure. I'm sure we wouldn't just switch to all open or something.
Yeah. Unlikely.
It's also interesting as you reminded us about the twisting in our arms that it's I mean the body is doing things whether we're aware of it or not. And then as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, of course, like this isn't a muscular thing I'm doing here. This is the body doing it, and it's the awareness of that, and then the working
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, and that's really also happening in the other postures, but because there's more movement, it feels different.
Yeah. Well, they each really feel different. I noticed that
Yep.
more maybe today. Yeah, how different they each
Yeah.
are.
Um, I'll just give you one note of remember in 3 that when you extend out to the sides, that the back straightens and extends at that point. I'm seeing the arms going out, but not always that the
Mhm.
whole body is, because that's how you then have some place to bend from to go to 6 and 12. If you don't extend at 3 and 9, it's hard to bend at 6 and 12. So just a thought.
Well, and I think in 3, I'm far more aware of the 4 points, I think, that we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I think if you are aware of that, then you have to, then the whole the spine has to extend, or you're just kind of jerking your body sideways.
Yep. Yeah, it's important to do that. Good. Okay. Well, practice, 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 and we'll add some more next week.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, David.
See you all.
Yep.
See you all next week, hopefully.
Have a good week.
You too.
Hopefully you're not going to get any parts of this hurricane there in Virginia, right?
Oh,
I think it's
if we
going
just,
out to sea. It's rainy here now too. So
yeah, if we just get some rains, that'd be welcomed here. So
Okay.
things are pretty
You're
dry.
warm. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, it's really rainy here. It's terribly rainy here. Things are molding.
Yeah.
Moldy.
The kale is getting fungus from the wetness. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just watched a thing in part about all that nice black mold that forms.
Oh,
Nice,
I
nice
last
black
week,
mold is not a phrase I usually use.
yeah, last week, immediately after our lesson, I got in the car and drove near Asheville to a 4-day mushroom conference. So
Ah.
part of it was about molds and other nasty, the aspergillus, the bad fungi.
Oops.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of it up here these days.
Yeah. Yep. My well's happy.
I'm
Yes.
glad. I'm glad.
Okay, guys, have a great week.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stay well and feel better, Bill.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Bye. So this is something you don't have to worry about adding to your form right away.
Thank you. One more thing, I don't know if I can do that extra layer. Well, it's interesting because I had a couple of real interruptions this week as I was beginning to practice. I didn't do I didn't do the flow. I was able to do really work on 7 a bit, but didn't get into doing the flow, and that had been really a goal. So I got up earlier this morning to do it, and my lower back really hurt. My very lower back.
Uh-huh.
And so I stopped after a while, and I'm still trying to remember the whole 3rd paragraph, right? Luckily I do have my cheat sheets here.
Good.
But sometimes you're like, what? Oh, wait a minute. Was that to the side or to the far back right? Anyway, it really hurt. And so I took a couple of ibuprofen in about 20 minutes and 9. And usually it doesn't work very fast, but I was surprised at how well I got through that hour without that pain. So I think some of that was just what I was doing was different. Some of it is just being very aware in number 7 of the back and not straining the back in ways.
So really, really important is staying aware of moving from the qua so that you don't strain the back.
Right. I mean, I don't know why it was hurting when I began to do paragraph 3 or when I got into paragraph 3, and I'll have to go back and kind of think about that. And was it just, I'd slept a little funny on my back and, it hadn't woken up yet enough or whatever, but it was enough to kind of go, oh, you're going into you're going into a class. You can't go into it feeling the tightness there. Right. So that's why I stopped doing that. Yeah, so maybe I'm not moving enough from the qua in terms of putting too much pressure. Is that one of your thoughts?
Could be, and because that's really be really opening and closing the qua from the qua, and making sure that you're doing the movements from the qua is really important to releasing, particularly the iliopsoas muscle. Which really affects lower back pain.
Right.
Unless you have, as I do, spinal stenosis, in which case you can have back pain without, even though you're doing everything well. So make sure that don't push through it. Again, it's that thing that if it's creating pain, then take a break and go back to it after you feel better.
Well, that's why I stopped.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think, and there's a difference between pushing through that and then feeling like you need to, strengthen other parts of your body at times, right?
So I'm gathering this.
Go ahead.
You didn't raise any questions about the 3rd paragraph this week.
No. I mean, I think I was able to answer my own questions in terms of kind of what am I supposed to be doing here by just my looking back on the notes, which I had.
Good.
But my goal is to try it. I'm going to take some extra time off this weekend. It's a Labor Day weekend. So hopefully, even though I'll have the kids at least one day, I'll, try to really, get to the point where I'll have questions. or not have questions. Whoa.
Well,
Or the
it's really
other.
interesting. That third paragraph is really packed.
Yes, yes. And I like the third paragraph.
Oh, yeah.
I just have not, been with my back of the light kind of doing
Yep.
it more slowly, but wanting to really, I mean, I sometimes I just need the challenge to kind of feel like, yep, I've got to get up and really practice today. So,
Yep.
you know,
Well, I have days like that too. So
and it's harder with all this rain. I'm looking forward to the series of sunny days. It's just kind of another
that would be nice.
cloudy day, and it's just kind of At least we're not in Florida.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad to avoid that. We don't
Yes.
need it.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, I hope they survive okay down there.
I hope people get out of the way.
Yeah.
It's always a shame when people lose, property, but it's worse to lose your life. So, and too many people hang on and don't move, and
Think they can ride it out, and geez.
it's like, well, we're Floridians, we're really tough. Or a lot of Vietnam vets died in Fort Myers because they just thought they could do it. They understood suffering, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's like a 10-foot storm surge.
Oh yeah.
There's no power. I mean, you have get out of the way, respect nature.
Yeah.
Maybe nature's telling us we didn't respect it. That is the problem, I realize.
and you're not big enough to stand up.
Right. Especially with the heat. I mean, I understand this is going to be more powerful because the oceans have been warmer. And it's going someplace that is not used to hurricanes, right? I mean, I grew up with hurricanes. I grew up around here, right? So, always had a sense of respecting what could happen. So,
Yep.
hopefully people have done that.
I hope so. Always a few.
There are always a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have a good week. I hope you can find practice time.
I am going to do my best. Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
I try. I do try.
I know you do. I know you do. You do have a few other things going on.
I do a few other things, and there's always something. It's like, hey, don't answer the phone. Then yesterday, friends from North Carolina who were driving through because they'd been to a wedding up in Massachusetts, called at 11:30 and said, hey, we're driving through New Bedford. How about we stop for lunch in New London? It's like, oh my God, I have to organize my meetings. And I was in the phone in the car in a meeting while they were, okay, there's 2 hours. Okay, back home, keep working. Anyway, all right.
You're only 2 hours behind.
I'm only 2 hours behind. That's right. Well, I don't have meetings tonight. Yay. All right, David, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Joanne. Hang in there.
Thanks. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.